Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey. And of course, with us, as usual, we have the dashing Dave Thier.
It's me.
Dashing. Nice
Dashing.
shirt, by the way.
Thank you. It's, I don't know. There's nothing really to say about it. It's just a nice shirt. I bought it from a store.
I hope so. I hope you didn't steal it.
I did not steal it. I did not.
Okay, perfect. And of course, our analyst, Manu Rosier. Welcome on board, gentlemen.
Hello. Dave, do you have something under your shirt? Or you just have
something no, I'm just a hairy fella.
Ah, okay. I was like, why
so
why too late?
The answer is yes, I do. No, I've always got the second layer. It comes with me.
I gotta ask you, Dave. I never asked you this. How hard is it to keep your beard in check? Like, I feel like that's a lot of work.
Well, it depends what you mean by in check, right? So right now, I would not consider it to be in check. So I haven't really done anything except stroke it occasionally. If I want to give it more effort, I put some moisturizer in there, and then if I really want to go for it, well, and combing, moisturizer and combing, and then I can blow dry it if I want to get it straight. And if it gets straight, it gets a little more, it gets down to like here, something like that, and it looks very, very put together. But that's more effort than I'm going to put in almost ever. So it's mostly theoretical.
Cool. But I assume you trim it sometimes, right? Because I feel like the size of it is very consistent over the past year.
I feel like I trim every month and a half. I'd like to, if I did it over in a month, then that would probably be ideal. However, I don't.
Fair enough.
And
Manu,
you,
how are things on your end?
Well, I want to see. I have this distinct feeling that I'm in some kind of Turkish seaside resort, and I'm wondering why.
You absolutely are. I am in Antalya, having a good time. I know the camera makes me look pinkish or reddish. I'm not reddish.
Good.
I did get some color, though. And of course, I'm also wearing this beautiful towel shirt now.
I want a towel shirt. They're cool.
It's a really cool shirt, but people keep making fun and jokes about it. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Like, I like it.
Do you wear it outside of the pool area, or I mean, is it a towel? Is it the first use? Is it towel or is it shirt?
I would say it's a shirt first and foremost. Yes.
Interesting.
You can tell because it's shaped like the top half of a person.
Yes. It's like it has a, what do you want to call them? Like, not sleeves. It has a collar, like half a collar, a relaxed collar. So I would count it as a shirt.
Okay.
But I think next time I'll probably record from the pool instead. This time I was pretending to be professional, recording from the lobby, testing out the Rode microphone and stuff like that, and seeing like how would that fare in the real world. Ideally, in the future, obviously, we try to record in real life. I want to record more in real life. We will make it happen one day. And hopefully, the Riverside software can help remove some of the background noise. But we'll get there one day, one step at a time. So we'll try this out, and we'll see how far we get. Manu, you've prepared everything for us, obviously, on the newsletter side. I have to tell people, right, because it helps us a lot. Apparently, it does. I don't know. Like, if you like to click buttons, there's a bunch of buttons. I don't know. I'm doing the Donald Trump thing here. But if you like buttons, there's a bunch of them. Please help us subscribe, like, bells, whistles, all these things on YouTube, on Spotify. We would really, really appreciate it. I have to ask you guys, because I haven't asked you for a while, what are you guys playing these days?
I'm playing again.
Honor, you had something.
Which is the good news. I'm playing again a bit more because it was hectic with the PC and console report and the weeks after. So now I have a bit more time to play. I play Fortnite again with the kids. There is a new mod, by the way, Blitz Royale.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Which is a mobile first mod. It's 32 players. A battle royale on a smaller map with incremental. It's kind of a roguelite because you have incremental powers. The more you kill people within the game, the higher your level is. So it's quite interesting. And I'm still playing too much of what is it? Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which is very addictive game. It's really
Great
it's
game.
like a Vampire Survivor, but in the universe of Deep Rock Galactic. I've actually never played the co-op FPS game Deep Rock Galactic, the OG one, but the Survivor one is really good.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
one of the best co-op shooters I've played, I think. It is technically, it's kind of like an extraction shooter. You can call it an extraction shooter if you want it, I think.
Yeah. And Survivor is kind of one of the best vampire, what is it? Vampire Survivor type of game. Really good also. Very visually, very nice. It's not about like a lot of big pixels. It's really nice visually. And Game Pass. Yeah. You collect resources. You have weapons. You increase the level of your weapons, and that unlocks stuff. It's really nice. Really, really.
Yeah. I should play a little more. I played a little bit to see what it was.
Yeah, and there is a lot of grinding.
Or is this on?
Sorry.
Is this mobile or console?
Console. It's PC. It's Steam. I don't care or know about the other platform. Maybe it's also console. I'm not sure, but it's PC for sure.
I would be surprised if it was mobile, but I could probably see it on console.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. And then I'm
playing Dune
Alters,
Awakening. Oh,
which is in the Game Pass.
The Altars.
Yeah, what is that? You mentioned earlier. What is it?
Come on, you should know. It's an important game. It's an important studio.
Why don't I know? Why don't I know about it?
I don't know. Maybe marketing is bad. I don't know. Or you are difficult to reach. That's one of the two.
Yeah. Well, because I'm definitely not difficult to reach. I'm all over, but things do slip through. So it seems that this is one of them, which is interesting to me.
It's a game from
11-bit.
Yes, the studio from This War of Mine and Frostpunk.
Remedy?
Oh, okay.
Remedy?
Did
Remedy do a game recently?
Yeah, but no. I play good games.
No, it does.
No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
We don't need to talk about that one.
This looks very Helldivers-ish. A bit.
Yeah.
No, it's a single player story-driven game.
Alternative versions of himself. Oh, this seems cool. Yeah.
So for those of you that have seen the movie Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson, which is about cloning the same person, like one after the other. It's like a worker in the future that's being cloned every time he dies. So it's basically expendable.
Oh, it's like Moon.
That was Bong Joon-ho, right?
And the game is a bit similar, but the difference here is that you're cloning cloning different versions of yourself. And you assign, then there is a base building and base management system where you would assign your different version of yourself that are different specialties or skills to different area of your base, whether it's resource collecting, whether it's repairing stuff, whether it's cooking, harvesting, and things like that. So it's a combination of survival and base management game. And also just you explore the surface, you find the anomalies, you find the resources. Yeah, it's really good. So far, it's really good.
It looks so good.
It look really good.
You see?
Yeah, I don't know how
it's a bit like Vault. What's it called? Fallout Vault.
Fallout Shelter.
Fallout Shelter. Yeah, similar. It has a similar camera in some places. 84 on Metacritic. I feel like 84 that's a good place to be.
Yeah,
I gotta check this out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on.
Wait a second. Who's buying this game again?
With some hundreds in there.
Yeah.
So who's behind this game?
Who's what?
Who's behind the game?
The studio from This War of Mine and Frostpunk.
Oh.
11-bit studio.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
11-bit. Now I see.
Polish studio.
This is an amazing looking game, by the way. I want to play this game. And you mentioned a movie that was inspired by. For me, if you've seen The Moon, the movie, I feel like there's
No,
some
I've seen the
similar vibes
moon
as well.
like I've seen it.
Yeah. You've
And,
seen the moon.
but
Yeah.
Mickey 17 is too recent to be an inspiration for this game. But I think it's
Yeah.
it's
Got
a
it.
concept of cloning ultimately, and I think the concept also of multiverse, because when the way they are cloning right now is that you are looking at your memories and your lifeline, and then there are moments where you can add a new connection in your lifeline and become a different person, and then you clone that different person.
Mhm.
So it
Sort of everything everywhere all at once, sort
yeah,
of.
yeah, that kind of things.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
How
Looks,
about you, Dave? Or
Dune
sorry,
Awakening.
are there any other games?
Yeah,
Dune
because
Awakening, yes.
yeah.
The MMO type game-ish, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's a survival game like the altars here. But I feel like Funcom is experimenting with pushing MMO survival games and MMOs together, and they're great. They do really, really well together. Yeah, I'm building my base. I'm experimenting with different rooftops now. I've gotten out of the tutorial area. It took me like 5 hours. Like, it's pretty long. But now I'm moving it. It's super cool. It's got what I like out of survival games, but it's not like too much. And the combat is like, it's not like an action RPG, right? But the combat is still a lot better than what you can see in a lot of other comparable things. And yeah, they're doing a great job, sort of getting those sort of core loops of harvesting, crafting, making cool stuff. It's I'm into it so far.
I heard I'm not sure if it was you mentioning that, but the DNA of Conan.
Oh yeah, I mean
in this game a lot.
it's in some ways I would think of it as a sequel to Conan Exiles. Mm-hmm. It's definitely, this is what Funcom is playing with, and now they're pushing it forward.
Any other games that you're exploring?
I'm still doing what Clarobscure,
There is a fishing game we need to try.
Are you finishing that game?
Oh yeah. You saw that.
Is it
I
Fish?
gotta try that.
Which one was
all those games that are like just chill out, man. Then I just get like, I try to min max my upgrade loops and do it really quick. I'm not good at the chilling out part of the game.
Which one was that? Fishing game? Is it just called Fishing Game?
No, it's called Cast and Chill.
Cast and Chill. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
This looks like a Raw Fury type of game. Like if Raw Fury would publish a game, this would be it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do publish games. That's most of what they
that's
do.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it looks like Kingdom 2 Crowns a little bit, doesn't it?
Thank you. It does look like...
It's that same highly reflective water, which is so distinctive of that
Dave
game.
the Diver.
Oh, it's a
Dredge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It looks very beautiful. And then the other one that's just been, I think, announced, another fishing game, and I think it's worth mentioning, and I will copy that in the chat.
Let's have a look
where it is. Up. There you go.
Let's see.
Out fishing. A
first-person horror. Yeah, I mean, I think Dredge showed us that fishing and horror go together really well, right? The unfathomable deeps of what's down there. So I would check this out. I think it's a good. It's not like the most obvious idea, but once you figure it out, it's a great idea.
Anne sütünde doğal olarak bulunan probiyotik B1 ve prebiyotikle bir...
I can't click on shit. You have to send me like YouTube links because I'm getting like Turkish ads and shit, and I can't block them.
Right.
This is so funny. But okay, I saw some of the images there.
And there's a gun in one of these screenshots as well. Oh, yeah, a shotgun. So that's sort of still. Yeah, usually you don't do it with guns, but I guess sometimes.
You can always.
But this is still sort of in the wilderness bucket with this shotgun here. So
in some countries, you just throw a grenade into a pond and then fish rain down. So
Yeah,
That's
I've
also
seen that
very
happen in
efficient.
various cartoons, and I haven't tried it personally. I am American, but I don't
Yes.
have any grenades. You know,
And
We are
Dredge
disappointed in you.
Dredge was also a bit of a horror type of game. Huh? Not fully, but there was also
yeah,
horror
definitely.
element in that game. So yes, it seems to be working quite well.
Yeah,
Is it horror or thriller? More thriller.
Horror.
horror,
Dredge
definitely.
is horror.
Horror. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
Fantasy
Got it.
horror. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, gentlemen. Do you want me to move over to the news? I know it's a dry week. It seems like. I mean, we had like the past 2-3 weeks packed to the brim with cool stuff.
Mhm.
But let's dive in and see
there's
what
plenty
you
this
cooked
week.
for
I
us.
feel like there's lots going on this week.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So the number one item on the highlights is Roblox coming back again. Last time you were mentioning Roblox, you were talking about grow a garden or grow your garden. It hit number one. It had the most concurrent players ever of a video game that we know of, at least on because I assume mobile games might have more concurrent players. Let me know if I'm wrong there. But on traditional platforms, including mobile in this case, because Roblox is on mobile,
Mhm.
Roblox Grow Garden surpasses Fortnite with record-breaking 16 million concurrent players.
Man, that's
This game has taken the world by storm, or
Yeah.
Roblox by storm. Is there
Mhm.
anything we are like? What do we need to learn from this?
Farmville for the alphas.
a lot of people. Yep, exactly.
That
Farmville
was
was
a
cool.
quote from
It had a
New
good
York
idea.
Times, I think. New York Times. Farmville for
Yep.
the alphas.
So
That's just
so I'm
an
gonna
existing
back up
formula
here.
somehow that has been ported into where the audience is, where the players are, and then initially, just for context, it was on a game on Facebook, I believe. It's also on mobile, Farmville, and it's a bit similar.
Mhm.
I think, yeah. Simple ideas, huh?
So
You don't need something complicated, huh?
So Farmville is important to me because that's sort of how I got into professional video game journalism. And that I was a food and agriculture reporter and a video game expert. And so I wrote several or 2010s style think pieces about Farmville, and one of them got me a job at Forbes. But I think it's that now, as in then, it's the sort of feeling of consistent effort and consistent reward and waiting for things
Yeah.
and having it work. Remember, Farmville came out in the wake of the economic crisis, when a lot of those ideas were called into question in the real world, and right now they're still not really functioning all that well. And I think that it's video game fantasy on this really pure way of like you just kind of put in the work and you get it back and you grow. And I think that's really a really powerful and capable fantasy. And what these games do is they deliver, and we all know that, you see it in MMOs and that kind of thing, but these games deliver a version of that fantasy very compact and very easy to do.
Yeah.
Farming in real life is extremely hard, by the way.
Yeah, I was food and agriculture reporter through being like a farmer. I don't want to like oversell myself. I wasn't hard scrabble in any way, but I did work on farms for like 5 years or so, and it's difficult. Though I liked it at the time. I was young.
I was gonna say it's the dream one day
Yeah.
to maybe own and manage a farm.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Go back to the real world for a second.
Yeah.
Do we foresee any other types of management type games like farming? Would you count this as a management type game?
I guess that's
Yeah.
not an unreasonable way of classifying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do we see these genres reaching a bigger audience?
Bigger than this? Bigger than being one of the highest concurrent players of all time?
I think it
sure.
just show it's working. I think this element here
Yeah.
also that's interesting is that even if you are not playing, keeps growing, and I think this is really strong. It's almost like a AFK type of game. I mean, you can do things when you are playing, but if you are not playing it, it's growing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was key to Farmville. I wonder if they needed to do any special like Roblox work on the Roblox engine. You know, if it's like some development tricks, because I can't think of anyone that's done that in Roblox before, but clearly that's a huge part of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for Roblox and these types of games, and Fortnite is not there yet, but persistency is going to be really important for a lot of games to survive on these platforms, have a footing. And I think one of the, if you remember a couple of weeks ago when we saw one of the first screenshots, it was mentioning specifically that it grows while you're offline or whatever. So that's going to be really important.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'll move over to the next item that we have on the list. Xbox is back in the news, and there are two items here, part of the highlight that you put in. One is the next generation of Xbox consoles. So apparently, Microsoft has signed a strategic partnership, a multi-year agreement with AMD. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life. Are we talking about? Because I did read the next one, and I'll read this as well, of course. So Microsoft is saying that they're working on the next gen Xbox consoles, plus mentioning you can play in your living room and in your hands. They already announced the Rogue or Ally Xbox consoles. But what are we learning here? I mean, they didn't give up the fight, obviously.
The Rogue Ally is not a next generation console. The next generation console is the next one, is the PlayStation 6 equivalent. So here, there are a few things to note. They keep with AMD. So AMD has been historically providing the PlayStation and the Xbox console from a chip standpoint. So I think it's interesting to see that there is no NVIDIA, at least no NVIDIA for Xbox. NVIDIA is partners with Nintendo for the Switch, if I'm not wrong, but I think it's the case. What else? So there will be different version of the next gen console, including a portable version. I think that's what they just want to say. And the last thing, it's the revolution, I believe, would be on the software more than on the hardware for the next Xbox, in the sense that they will merge the Xbox and the Windows experience, most probably in the future. So I think this is really what to watch for the next generation of Xbox. I mean, obviously it will be more powerful. It will be the equivalent of a more powerful computer, like with 8-year old newer hardware. But I think the software will be the interesting part, and how they will integrate the Xbox experience and the PC experience will be the thing really to follow for this next generation, because PlayStation will not have that. Okay, PlayStation doesn't have a software, an operating system outside of the PlayStation, while Xbox has that. So I think there is probably something there that's part of a bigger multi-platform strategy for Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the ROG Ally thing has sort of shown us a bit of a glimpse of the future of what they're planning. And the next Xbox is going to be a PC, basically, is my guess. And like Manu says, that is the advantage. Like, if you can make a Steam machine that's an Xbox machine that also has both the brand recognition and sort of know-how to make something that feels good in the living room, that's a really tempting device. But like with the ROG Ally thing, Steam library integration is non-negotiable.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be huge. And I remember back in the day on the first Xbox, people were able to run Windows, is it XP? I forgot which one it was at the time, 2004 or 5. I mean, you did talk about this a bit. Is there even something called generation of consoles anymore at this point in time? I mean, that's behind us, right? Like, moving forward, all previous generations of games will work on future platforms. Would that be correct to say? Like, do we care about generations anymore?
No. There is a technical step. Okay, you cannot run a PlayStation 5 game on a PlayStation 4. So there is still there is backward compatibility, but it's not forward compatibility. So yes, you still have this generation. You would need the latest hardware to play the latest games. I think that's not going to change in the future.
Yeah, though I think the ramp just gets slower and slower
Yeah.
and slower, and the ramp to this next generation is going to be incredibly slow, which is why I think that it might be the moment when Microsoft has a better strategy than Sony. Because if Sony's strategy is the old strategy, make a more powerful thing, slowly get people on board with big fancy narrative exclusives, I mean, you're just going to have a really hard time selling based on like more graphical improvements. And even, Unreal did it, talk about the accessing memory, and so you can have bigger areas and that kind of thing. And that was a big step, but it's all just becoming a little bit more difficult to sell that narrative. I think the PS6 is going to be hard to sell in some ways because of the success of the PS5. It's out there. People have it. Sony can't afford to like release all of its Gods of Wars and whatever Naughty Dog is up to next. It can't afford to like really migrate all of them to the PlayStation 6 when that comes out. So it's gonna. I just see that being tough.
Well, what if I ask this way? In this generation of like when we talk about the Xbox Series X and the Sony PlayStation 5, what games define this generation of consoles?
For PlayStation, I would say the God of War, the Spider-Man. All right, I think The Last of Us not that much because they were before. So I would look at the Sony Astrobot also. It's probably one of the games. For Xbox, there's not been anything basic. There has been Halo Infinite. But other than that, it's just the Forza.
I mean, I think it's pretty easy to argue that Halo Infinite defines this generation of Xbox. Not necessarily for the better, but it's not a bad standard bearer.
It's the best explanation of it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen. I will move over to the news, if that's okay by you. Let's see what we have here. The number one item on the news: Bungie delays marathon after alpha test feedback. Now, I was expecting a cancellation of this thing, but maybe there is something I'm not seeing.
What's
your take here?
Why cancellation?
Bland, boring. We don't understand what is the goal of the game. We don't understand.
But
I just feel like it doesn't have like.
I don't think they can afford to cancel it. It's maybe it's sunk cost fallacy, but for me, I think that go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you don't cancel a game like that just because it feels boring. I'm sure they're aware of that. So I would say, yeah, they could stop completely, but then it's probably the end of Bungie, or just at least launch it and see what happens, and then maybe quickly shut down the servers in the case they don't find their audience. So it's a bit late to cancel a game which is so close to launch. You cancel projects like they've canceled Black Panther recently, because Black Panther was expected to release in a few years, but canceling, that's kind of that's another hit, right?
It's the issue. Yeah. I mean, it's like Hyenas, right? They had to cancel that. Because this is live service, right? If you have a really shitty like single player boxed game, then you can release it and try and recoup some money with minimal risk. But there's a lot of risk if you try and just sort of push something like this out, because then you have to maintain it for the players that do play it. You risk a major reputational damage. There's just a lot of live service is so tough from that perspective that if it's not a hit, it becomes a liability.
It just feels a bit bland. I'm not seeing like what's special about this title specifically. That's kind of like what is sticking out to me, which is a bit unfortunate. I mean, Concord looked so much better as a title, but unfortunately, obviously, we know how that went. But if you put them side by side, Concord is so much more appealing from just a visual perspective. But we all know that visuals are not everything. Like gameplay is the most important thing. But even that for me didn't stand out in any shape or form. Okay, I'm not going to linger on this too much. I'll move over to the next one here. Kojima made significant changes to Death Stranding 2 because playtesters thought it was too good. Now, is this one of those IGN
No.
clickbait articles?
No.
Well, I think Kojima is making the clickbait himself. I wouldn't blame the.
He's good at that. Huh?
Kojima's very good at that. Yeah.
Change the game halfway. Well, that's bullshit. There's no such thing as changing a game halfway. But he doesn't want his game to be mainstream, whatever that means, because Elden Ring is mainstream. You could argue.
He's
so
just.
What are we supposed to learn here, guys?
We learned that Hideo Kojima is really good at messaging.
Yeah,
he has a brand of being a public-facing weirdo, and here he is augmenting that brand.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to do Spider-Man. He wants to do his own things, and I think it's he's looking to maybe change the industry somehow by coming with things that are different rather than just doing what has been successful. And I think that's good for him. That's maybe not so good for whoever is funding him. Because I guess whoever is funding him probably wants to get as much money as possible from the game. So
maybe here's a takeaway that I'm reading here. This is quote from Kojima. I want people to end up liking things they didn't like when they first encountered it. And that's fair to say. Like he wants maybe people to experience something new, in other words, which I can imagine. And I guess like for a creator as well, like if it's a painter, if it's like whoever is creating something artistic in a way, which parts of video games is, I guess if you're doing the same type of painting like for 20 years, you probably want to change it up a bit and add something new or change your style or whatever it is. That's fair. Okay. Any other comments on
I mean you mentioned Elden Ring, but Elden Ring is not a mass market accessible game like Spider-Man. Again, for you maybe, but not for.
Fair enough. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
And your children.
Right.
And
it's
your
not
children.
an Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yes, like 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, please give them Elden Rings. Here's a game I haven't played yet, just because I thought there would be a discount on it. But apparently there is no discounts on this game, which is rightfully so. So I'm going to buy it full price soon-ish once I get back. But Stellar Blade hits highest concurrent players count on Steam for PlayStation-published single-player game. I think the last one was either The Last of Us or God of War. I forgot which one it was. By the way, is Stellar Blade published by Sony?
Is it?
I know it was a Korean studio.
It's a PlayStation exclusive.
Okay.
But is it published? No, it is published by Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, obviously now more people get to play it, and here I can see that the game has peaked at 183,000 concurrent players.
Yeah, which is good for a single player game. In absolute numbers.
It was actually, by the way, it was Helldivers 2 that was the number one most played by PlayStation.
Yeah.
But this is like we're seeing this. It's almost like This is funny, by the way, in some shape or form, because if Xbox is going to allow Steam to be on their platforms, that means you can just play Sony exclusives on Xbox platforms in the future or near future.
Yep.
Full circle.
And what's interesting from like a tactical perspective is there isn't a damn thing Sony can do about it. Like people expect this now. This is part of Sony's strategy. Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. Clearly, this shows you can't do that.
But I think it doesn't. It doesn't change anything in the sense that it's not gonna be day at the same day. It's not gonna be simultaneous release. The PlayStation exclusive and the PC version of this exclusive. I don't think it's the plan. anytime soon for Sony to do that. So there will still be this temporary exclusive on the PlayStation.
I think they said like at least a year because they made some recent strategy deck or something that was going around. I think that's what they were saying was at least a year. So that's the minimum.
Yeah. And
has any of you played Stellar Blade specifically?
No, never. That's not my type of game. Like a bit, what is it, Devil May Cry and that type of game, Bayonetta? Is it the style of?
Yeah, I was gonna mention Devil May Cry. Yeah, it does feel like that type of game.
Yeah, or maybe Bayonetta for the protagonist, the female protagonist, which potentially has some impact on the success of the game. Let's be honest.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the director took a page from that book. I'll move over to the next item, the final item on the news. Mobile first Fortnite Blitz Royale mode launches on June 18th. So before we talk about this item, I think I did mention a while ago about Call of Duty introducing casual Battle Royale. Where you play against bots. And casual Battle Royale on Call of Duty, Warzone, is so fun. It's so much more fun. And I think out of the 150 players, maybe it's like your squad, which is 4 players, is going against maybe 6 other squads, something like that. So it's almost like a 80-20 or percentage between real players and bots. But it's like, obviously you notice the bots are bots. But when you're in a firefight, you're having so much more fun. You're able to stay in the game for much longer. And when you actually do meet players, it becomes one of those, it's almost like hide and seek in a way, because the map is so big. And once you encounter somebody, it's like you immediately know if it's a player or not. But that moment is so decisive, and it's so fun when you see a real player that you're shooting at. I feel like they hit the nail in that specific mode. I encourage people to try it out.
Which is basically Fortnite.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Except that it's
Fortnite or
full of bots.
I think full of bots, but I think it's an interesting difference, right? Because Fortnite just makes bots part of its matchmaking system. That as you get better and you go up in skill level, you see fewer bots, and so the idea of formally dividing it and formally labeling it as casual, I think that's kind of cool, and I could see myself choosing that and enjoying that.
It's unfortunate you cannot choose the number of bots in a battle royale game in Fortnite. Sometimes it depends on if you are playing with different people, where you will have more bots. Sometimes it also feels like make you feel better for a while. If you are a bit discouraged because you had bad performance against human, then it bring you back in a lobby with more bots. So I think it's part of the balancing and the engagement system also of the game, just the bots.
Absolutely. But so on this thing, what are we supposed to learn? Mobile first Fortnite Blitz.
I'm
Royale.
curious. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Yeah, I want to try it. I think it's a maximum 5-minute games, so it's shorter. So it's designed more for mobile gaming, but I think it seems to be working also just for all platforms. So I want to, I need to try that. I can talk about it maybe next week.
Yeah, I'll do it too. We'll talk about it together. They described it as like mobile friendly, so that works. That works for me. I can do it while watching Top Chef.
We'll play together. Yeah. I'm seeing here that it says
32 players.
Blitz Royale.
Small map.
Roguelike design, 5 minutes gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and it's PV. It's PvP.
Yeah, only
PvE, PvP.
PvP.
Okay. Got it. Okay, let's go over to the trends, my friends. Hitman developer IO Interactive emerges as independent video game powerhouse. I don't understand. Tell me, what am I supposed to learn here? Because I thought they were always that independent powerhouse.
They went through some rough patches. Yeah.
They were a studio. I know they are a publisher.
They did.
That's the difference. They are publishing other games.
Yeah. So Square Enix basically sold them off because they needed money to pay. There was some They're trying to pay for Marvel's
Square Enix
Adventures or
made
something
some
like that?
really weird
Yeah,
choices
and then
there. I mean,
WB
there
got
was
them.
yep.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and I see here they appointed Hakan Abrak as the CEO. I think he was at the company for a very long time before becoming CEO here. I was going to just mention quickly then on Square Enix. So they had, is it Eidos Interactive? They had IOI, which is IO Interactive, and both of them were sold, or they were acquired and then they were sold, or they left the company, or I don't know how that works. Do we know anything else on Square Enix and what they're doing on their end?
They are doing
For a
their own
while, they were very
IPs,
into it.
but there is not. I don't think there's been any anything about acquisition. But I mean, Eidos was bought, I think, by Embracer, and Eidos is not in the same shape as IO Interactive. So you cannot also build a case and say they Square Enix are selling the wrong assets, because maybe they shouldn't. But maybe IO Interactive wouldn't have been successful if it had stayed in the Square portfolio. So
it's that was a real shame. Eidos is responsible for so many great games and was such a big presence in their time, and so seeing them just sort of get flopped around and then it was too bad.
But you wonder, after so many transactions, if you still have any soul left in the name of these studios. What does Eidos mean right now? Is it just a catalog of old titles? Is it like the talent? Probably not. There's probably not much of the OG talent there anymore. Founders might have left. So it becomes an IP in the same way that a video game is an IP. But all in all, I think for modern gamers, nobody has heard about Eidos. Like the alpha, it's just.
Oh, even Z, it's
Eidos
is for us.
Yeah, I mean, Deus Ex.
By the way, this is crazy.
Yeah, Deus Ex.
Yeah, I mean, man, Human Revolution was so good.
Tomb Raider, right?
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
they're a powerhouse. Yeah. To borrow a word.
Here's what's crazy. This is like a company that started in 1984. But moving forward, I think I'm looking at the wrong page here. Oh, this is Eidos. I'm not sure why, because it seems like Crystal Dynamics was part of it at one point. Would that be correct? Or
they did Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, yep. Okay, I wanted to move to the trends, my friends, and I'm not sure, or we are in the trends, but I'm not sure. Like, politics is a thing these days with regards to technology and companies buying companies, and especially like Chinese companies. So this one says Tencent studies. Can't even read. Tencent studies deal for 15 billion game developer Nexon. So, and then the next item that you've attached to this is Korean game industry slams Tencent's Nexon pursuit as threat to national security. This is like, everything is being dusted into or put into the bin of national security.
I mean, it sounds silly, but I think that's reasonable. Soft power counts, even if America is abandoning its soft power over the world and concentrating such a gigantic share of one of the major media industries in the world, and a thing that is beamed into millions upon millions of people's heads and brains every day. I do think that there is national security is a funny, complex term, but I think that there's placing a tremendous amount of power in a company which is ultimately enmeshed with the Chinese Communist Party.
When you have a company that would regroup assets in Korea and in China, you're covering the biggest share of the PC market. PC gaming market, with China being number one, or US, China number one, and then Korea being number 3. So culturally also it can have an impact, because we know that Korea has been trying to export its culture, and is exporting its culture, whether it's music, cinema, or video games. to the Western world, to the rest of the world. So I think that's if Nexon would become Chinese owned, that's a different story. They lose one of their channel of culturalization.
Yeah.
Is that almost like saying like if China would buy Hollywood-ish type?
Or Samsung, like
Yeah.
some company from
Yep.
China would buy Samsung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, the U.S. is just a really good example of how of the reach of soft power. And like, you look at the U.S. in the 90s, and it is the unquestionable center of this kind of global culture. And it's fallen apart now. Korea is flexing its muscles, and I think that they don't want to lose one of their crown jewels there.
I was gonna say the 90s. That's like, you know, maybe the high point of Hollywood movies with the Rambos and all these. Yeah. The good old days of making movies. Gentlemen, I'm sorry about the small mishap here, so I'll go back. Any other thoughts about this, or should I move over to the next item?
No.
Let's go.
Good.
Okay, let's go. So the next item, Warner Brothers triples down on Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Mortal Kombat, and DC in organization restructure, putting Batman Arkham Origins and NetherRealm Studios heads in charge. Oh, wow. So are we talking about Ed Boon here?
I would think.
Let me know. I
Yeah.
hope so. Ed Boon is such a good guy. Tell me, what are we learning here about Warner Brothers? Warner Brothers tried to do the live service thing. Didn't work out that well. And they're regrouping, restructuring, maybe hopefully focusing and making sure that a studio that is, you know, expert in doing a specific game can continue doing that type of game. Also, I never knew, or I didn't hear that there was an Arkham Origins game in the works.
No, that's not what is written.
Okay, but tell me, so what are we learning here?
We are talking about the studio that did Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
Rocksteady.
Which is the worst Arkham Origins. Because no, Rocksteady did not do Arkham Origins.
Oh.
That was somebody else.
Yeah, because they were doing Suicide Squad at the time.
Huh. Yeah. I think it was announced a while ago anyway that they will focus on only a few key franchises in the same way as Activision has done that. EA is doing that. They are all doing that. They are removing all the distractions. They only want the big blockbuster title. So today, I mean, this news is just explaining how they will organize themselves to achieve this new strategy. It's more like that. And I want to link that news with the rumors I've just added. I don't know if you have it already or not, but I just
give me 1 second.
Refresh.
There was because there were initially no rumors today, but now we have one rumor that we're gonna cover. Give me a second here. I'll share my screen as well at the same time. So the rumor is that Sony is doing something, which is wants Warner Brothers gaming assets like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So I can totally see
that's a weird acquisition, though.
Why?
Isn't that?
Why is that?
What is weird with that?
I just feel
video game company buys video game stuff. I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Is it weird that
Fair
Microsoft buys Activision? Was it weird?
But I just feel like these, I mean, apart from Harry Potter, it feels like these games are like, not that interesting.
There's Mortal Kombat. I mean, Harry Potter does fit very well into Sony's general wheelhouse.
You don't want to see a Batman game done by the same team as Spider-Man?
I would love to see a Batman game made by Rocksteady. I hope one day.
Well, I don't think Rocksteady is, Rocksteady might be entering IDOS territory. In that, I don't know if the current Rocksteady is Rocksteady that we know and love.
But okay, Manu, if we take these two apart, just take Harry Potter and Batman aside, everything else is so uninteresting. And like Mortal Kombat, don't get me wrong, one of the best franchises ever. It's not going to change or move the needle in any shape or form, right?
What?
Why not?
Yeah.
6 million units.
Who else do you have?
Nothing.
You just have EA.
I don't know. That's why you don't buy it. That's why you don't buy it.
But PlayStation, they bought Bungie. That was a bad idea also?
I think that was an amazing idea based on the track record of Destiny 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that ship did not take the right turns later.
I mean, if they get access to all the DC catalog and they manage it and they make great single player games as they've done Spider-Man, and they will do Wolverine, as they do God of War, I think there is a potential there. I think these IPs are very valuable. And for Sony, it will be with Mortal Kombat, it's a fighting game, that they will have in-house.
Mm-hmm.
And access to some other very famous IPs. I think, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. I don't know. There are worse ideas than that.
And it's also NetherRealm is also tied up with Injustice: Gods Among Us, which is also a very capable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen a Game of Thrones game that anyone cares about yet? I know they've done some mobile things.
You had Telltale Games, I think.
Yeah, it's the Telltale, and that was part of Telltale's like over expansion period. I feel like, but yeah, I mean, we should. I'd like one. It would make sense. Maybe Funcom. I want a Funcom one. I want to. What's that?
Superman.
Are there any?
Here's you want to make some money. Find a way.
Tell us
to re-release Superman 64 in
let's go
pure. Just give us try and replicate it as closely as possible. Just give us the worst game,
like a full-on remake. No, not a remake. Remaster is what you're asking for.
Yeah, not I want them to get as close as they can to just simply replicating the. I know it's on XE4. You have to build it differently, but bugs and all, I feel like people would buy that.
Yes.
Sell it for $5, and I would buy it.
I'll guys, I'll stand my ground here. Yes, I agree. Game of Thrones, Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, and then Batman. Everything else, does anybody care? I don't know. But I'm assuming nobody cares. Gentlemen, I'll move over to the next item on the trends here. How dead as disco surge wishlists with a demo twist. I'm very curious about this because
we talked about last week. So let's not talk about it again.
Yeah, tell me.
I just putting the link this week because we discussed about that on screen last week. But
Can you give me a reminder, please? Just give me a reminder because I'm old.
It's about the playlist and the music you can put in the game, if I remember correctly, because it's a fighting game, beat fighting game. So, yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Then in that case, we covered the rumors, so now we only have numbers. And the number one item on the numbers, 10 million people now own Beat Saber on Quest alone. So if we talk about VR is going through a weird time right now, I feel like. Would that be accurate to say? And I know that one of the biggest publishers of VR games went through a very hard time recently, laid off a lot of people, unfortunately. Yet here we are talking about Beat Saber. 10 million people own Beat Saber. But I think I'm more curious about where VR is going, generally speaking.
There.
I mean, Beat Saber rules. And for me, it's always been sort of a standard bearer of some of the best kind of VR design that you can have. When I think about the games that I really love, Beat Saber is one of them. Tetris Effect is another one. Synth Riders. VR is all about immersion, and I think, as it turns out, music is a very powerful tool, arguably just as much as the visuals. And so that's why I think that we're going to keep gravitating to these really sonically intense experience.
I think VR is not going anywhere. So there have been good news and less good news recently. I think Meta has done a good job with the launch of the 3S, which is a cheaper version of the 3 and more accessible. So they've released the entry level pricing, which is good. And I think it had a positive impact on the install base. It doesn't mean that now you have 50 million VR devices in the world. I think 10 million for Beat Saber on Quest is probably a very high attach rate. And let's be honest. So that's the kind of the positive. The failures is the Apple Vision Pro disappeared. It was not really positioned as a gaming device because you have to play with you have to use the Apple software, which is not really like HD gaming friendly. And then the PSVR also is not doing well. PSVR 2, I think we've heard also in recent months that they are restructuring, and probably they're going to be less expensive games on the PSVR. I think Sony is still there. I don't see that also as a major growth opportunity. So VR is there. There are people playing it, but it's not the next big thing. Like it has been for the past 10 years. So it's just there. It's a niche. Again, with my sample of kids and friends around, I have maybe 10 to 20% of the kids around me that have a VR device, which is not bad. But I think it's never going to pick up that much more for so many reasons. You need the space. It's an additional device. You need the money. There are so many reasons why it cannot replace standard console, and it cannot become like really massively mass market.
We are still waiting for the Matrix. In other words.
Oh, it's the chip, huh? Yeah, it's the chip, huh? It's the integrated chip, but in your brain, not in a device.
Yes.
My buddy Elon. I was talking to my friend Elon about that. Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll move over to the next item here. We have Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, sales top 10 million. So Crash Team Racing, is that a main entry in the series?
It's one of the recent titles. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
really?
I think so. Yes.
Completely missed it.
I don't know if it's a remaster. I don't think it's the remaster.
No, this is 2019. It says here, launched 2019.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
And it's still selling.
No, it's it's a remastered version of Crash Team Racing.
Okay.
Oh, now I see. Okay, now I see. And that's a lot of units, I would say.
Yeah,
for this type of game.
I agree.
That's cool.
I think people always wonder how they can be successful with a racing game. And to be fair, with Forza and GT on PlayStation, they are owning the simulation space. You have F1, which owns the license. But if you want to have a very successful racing game, you have to be casual. You have to be Super Mario type of game. And I think why this one is successful is because Super Mario is not available on non-Nintendo console, and there was a character and it worked. There's been other tentative from Disney, Disney Speedstorm. There's been tentative from Lego also. But yeah, that's just that one. It seems to have been one of the most successful ones.
I'd love to see it explode more, but it definitely runs into the issue of a genre that is so closely linked to a single game that it becomes hard to breathe. And Nintendo owns kart racing and whatever it is you call Super Smash Brothers, platformer fighting, I guess is what you call it, something like that. And it's really like, even though that you need specialized hardware in order to play these games, specialized hardware that like statistically most people do not have, it's still incredibly hard to compete, because that is just what's a kart racing game? A kart racing game is a Mario Kart game.
Yeah,
absolutely. Gentlemen, the next item on the numbers is really dear to me from the perspective of nostalgia and like, the link to Fallout 4 release. One of the probably the most genius release of a video game, like a traditional video game ever, that very few people realize and understand the impact. So 10 years ago, and I assume this is 10 years ago exactly, but Fallout Shelter launched day and date with the announcement of Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
This was E3 summer, June
I was in the
2000.
audience. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So you know better than me. And then they followed up the launch of Fallout Shelter less than 4 months later with Fallout 4 and just explode. But Shelter on its own was an amazing game.
Yeah.
Amazing game.
Great little game.
Free. Yeah.
And this news item, Fallout Shelter has been downloaded over 230 million times in 10 years. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear from you about what do you think about Fallout Shelter, the impact, and then obviously connecting the ecosystem of Fallout, from the TV series to the Shelter to the mainstream games. And I'm very curious. They have to be working on a new Fallout game, like a main title Fallout game. Would love to.
They don't have to be. I don't think 76 definitely is still being supported, and that team is making Elder Scrolls. Generally in the past they sort of alternate, so maybe they are, but maybe someone else is. But I think we have definitely seen it's a super flexible IP, and I think that there are certain IPs that you see on T-shirts, and you see Fallout on a lot more T-shirts relative to like the size of the game. Like Elder Scrolls is, Skyrim is a much more popular game, sold way better. Still does, but you see a lot more Fallout. You see the Vault Boy around a lot, and I think that is really indicative of why it's a really solid, flexible IP. It's very, very iconic. It like you in many ways, visually, tonally, it is very unique and recognizable, and it's very clear how you would. It's a complete world, and so it's really clear how you do different things with that world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Any thoughts from you, Manu?
Yeah, I mean, 230 million players is a lot, but let's not forget it's a mobile game. So, Among Us numbers are more happening more often on mobile platform, even more when it's free. It feels like they could have made more money out of that. I'm not sure they made that much money out of that. I just wondering if there was not more than this formula, which is, I think, single player formula also, and I don't know. I've not played for probably 9 years and a half, so I played at the beginning. I don't know how they are about what's the monetization system.
Exact same thing here.
Is it progression shortcut? Is it cosmetic? I don't know. It feels like they had the players, and I don't know how much they managed to funnel these players into the HD experience and vice versa. I've not really been looking that much at the franchise recently. What are the interactions with Fallout 76, for example? Is there content between the two whenever there is a new event in 76 compared to that one? But it's good. I hope, and I'm sure they include that game whenever they are thinking about the franchise strategy of Fallout. I hope.
Yeah, I would love to see like Obsidian make the next Fallout and Bethesda to make the next Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will not add more to this. I mean, when Vault launched, or Shelter rather, it was a free game. It has zero monetization.
Yeah.
Obviously blew up heavily over the years.
Because it was
that was like one of the
go.
No, it's basically maybe what you were trying to say. It was a supportive marketing stunt as part of the release for Fallout 4.
We had that
about
trend.
A successful one.
Yeah, I think we had that trend at some point where the AAA games, they had some kind of mobile app that would be launched before the release, or Need for Speed had some stuff also where you could customize your car, and I think there had been companion games like FIFA also. So I think it was surfing on that one, but I'm not sure you have that. I think maybe you have a GTA companion.
I would say my takeaway here in this specific case is that it was a full game.
Yeah,
like absolutely. It was a complete game. You could play for maybe 10, 15, 20 hours back in the day at least. And that's my takeaway. And it had no connection. Like it had no one-to-one connection with the Fallout game that was coming out.
Yeah. And from an announcement point of view, they hit it just right, because they did announce Fallout 4, right? This wasn't a Diablo Immortal situation. That they gave people what they wanted, and they gave them a life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, the only last item we have, we won't need to talk about it for too long. Stellar Blade, obviously, as we talked before, had a huge number of people playing it right now, but it surpassed 3 million sales following PC release. So that's, that was the last item we had out of the numbers. Gentlemen, we reached the end of the episode. Any other things you'd like to mention, talk about, apart from the background noise that I have here?
No.
I'm envious both of the shirt and the location. Looks nice.
Thank you, Dave.
I want that
Thank
shirt
you.
and I want to wear it at a resort.
Okay. I will give it to you next time we meet.
All right.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, Manu, one more thing.
I'm presenting something on next Tuesday to the UK. Yeah. I don't know.
So there are two things. Yeah. So you're presenting something in the UK next Tuesday?
UKI, the UK Interactive Entertainment Organization. We have there's a podcast, webcast where I will be presenting stuff about Japan, the market.
Oh, cool. That's amazing.
The games, the players. So it's free, obviously. I will put the link on my LinkedIn also.
Yeah. Please do. We'll add it to the newsletter as well, maybe. That could be a cool thing. I will also add, Dave will have a cool piece coming out on Tuesday next week as well.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is very correct. I'm excited to write it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And we'll see how much politics there is in that one, because you've been hitting it on that.
That has been a consistent theme. I think that maybe...
Yes.
Can't think of the connection for this time, but you never know.
Well, you have the Nexon thing going on. That could be a cool thing. Yeah, but I'll leave it up to you. Yes. All right. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, if you're listening on Spotify, please go to Gies Weekly, GIES weekly.substack.com. Please subscribe, help us, support us, do all the things. We really appreciate it. And with that being said, we hope to see you on the next episode next week, coming from another location in Turkey. I have no idea where, but hopefully it's a cool place. Okay, gentlemen, have a nice one. I'll see you on the next one.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.